Welcome back, everyone. So like I said earlier today, when I did EXO's Growl episode 2 music video, oh my gosh, too long to say. But I did mention that I was going to do G-Dragon's Coup D'etat video, and right now I'm going to do G-Dragon's Coup D'etat video. Oh my gosh, I pulled on something and it went everywhere. I'm sorry. See if I can fix this in a kind of way. This isn't gonna work out. Alright, 1 second. That's better. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to be doing G-Dragon's Coup D'etat music video. It's kind of like an in-depth review, and I realized I said that like ding ding ding. Anyway, so I actually wanted to do this video when it first came out, but I didn't quite have a good schedule at the time. Sorry about that, but I set up my schedule now, so now we're all good. We got the schedule ready. So I'm just going to get into it. G-Dragon's Coup D'etat video. This is not a reaction. I saw it beforehand. I read symbolism beforehand. I read all about that before. So I'm just going to go over some of them and tell you some of my theories, what I thought about this music video, like how everything played out, basically. Let's go. So I'm pretty sure you guys heard that this whole beat was made by Diplo as well. I'm going to talk about that first part right then and there. I mean, audio-wise, not actual video, but audio. So the guy goes, this television will not be televised. The revolution is in your mind. The revolution is here. That gave me clue enough that this video is probably about him. This whole song was most likely about G-Dragon himself. Saying, like, I know some people probably didn't think too much about the English in this song. Well, like the first part of English, not G-Dragon's English himself, but that first part says a lot. The revolution is not televised. It's something that reporters will not catch. It's something that whatever revolution he has going on in his head, the coup d'etat in his head, is not televised. He's not showing that a lot. He's not showing it on TV like that. He's not like, oh, I'm like this and then I'm like this. It's not like that. The revolution is in your mind. It is a mental thing. The two lines kind of go together. I should have said them together, but this whole video, I think, takes place within his mind. That's what I think. I think it's his own inner struggle about being Kwon Ji-young versus G-Dragon. Which one should he be? Should he be? He can't be both, obviously. Should he be this one, or is he this one? He's this one privately. We all know in a private setting, he is Kwon Ji-young. He's not G-Dragon. We all know that. But of course, when he's in public, when he's with Big Bang, if he's doing a solo project, I think at KCON, when he's in front of his fans or on camera, then he becomes G-Dragon. Unless, you know, it's like a behind-the-scenes camera, like an off-stage one. Then he's kind of like attempting to balance the G-Dragon and Kwon Ji-young, I think. I think even then, even the off-scenes, I think even in the off-stage cameras, he is still G-Dragon. I think that he thinks that he is still G-Dragon. And sometimes we don't see him as that, but I think that he is still G-Dragon because he's still on camera. He's still putting on this type of a show for you guys to see, basically. The second really powerful part of imagery in this one. Okay, so that's the part when the little boy is standing in front of the tomb grave, and he has that red glove on, and he has it against his heart, and like, I guess he's saying like he's praying in a way. I think that he's praying in a certain way. I'm trying to fix the camera still. Okay, that's better. I think he's like praying in a way, and as we all see, he's standing in front of this tomb. And the tomb, like, the camera just briefly looks up at the person, like, it doesn't even show you his face, like, it stops, like, way below, like, right along his waist area, so you don't see who it is, but we can pretty much guess that it's his own. We can guess that he's not his own, but, you know, he's at a grave site. He's at someone's grave, basically. The flashing lights, I can't explain that whatsoever. But like I said, I did read everything beforehand, so I now know that he was in front of the tomb of himself as either Kwon Ji-young or G-Dragon. In a way, I think he's announcing the death of one side of him. Do I know which side it is? Absolutely not. I wanted to say that this was the death of Kwon Ji-young, because as a child, as we see here, I think that's the part that he was going for. I know he's done music for a really, really long time, and he's been in the music forever, and he had a little attitude when he was younger, but that's what I think this is. I think this is the death of Kwon Ji-young, not G-Dragon, who we forever see him as G-Dragon, but not really Kwon Ji-young. Kwon Ji-young is someone who comes out for him as, like, when he's around his parents or his family, something like that, you know. It's a personal thing around friends, when he's not in front of cameras, basically. This video is pretty deep. This video is really, really deep, and I want to talk about it really, really as much as I can. And this video is going to take a few videos, so it's going to be part 1, 2, and 3, stuff like that, probably. And it's just going to be continuing on from each one, so don't worry if you didn't catch some of it. You know, you can go in between, and you know, I'm going to have parts of the video, because I'm going to stop at every important part and talk about it. So let's continue on. Okay, so that's the part when the girls are like behind the trees, and they have on those really fancy red gloves and the red dresses and the hats, and they're blinded, which is really important. And G-Dragon like shows up in the beginning with like a hole, I think, where his heart is, where there's a hole in his chest, basically. So, talking about that part right there, what I think it is that you can kind of see that everything they're wearing is fancy. The girls in the back, they're wearing red, which is, I think, a classy color, basically. I think it's a color of high class, I believe. They're wearing like lace gloves and leather gloves. They have on these really fancy hats and nice dresses, but they have these red blindfolds on. Like, they're blindfolded completely. So, and they're behind trees, which is kind of strange. But like I said, I did read beforehand. So, as we know, those females in the video are other celebrities. They're models, they're actresses, they're people with money, people who are famous, possibly. But why are they blinded? Huh? They are blinded simply because they don't see G-Dragon in a way that he wants to be seen. They see him as, oh, G-Dragon, not, oh, Kwon Ji-young. They don't see him personally. They see him as a guy who's making tons of money, a guy who's really popular, someone who's going to get them popular because they're dating him, and stuff like that. That's why I think he has that heart, the hole, the bloody spot on his shirt. I think it's a hole because he feels like he's missing his heart. Or they're missing his heart. They're only seeing him physically and not characteristically, not going into who he is as Kwon Ji-young and not G-Dragon. So I think that he's just like hurt, or like this is the these are the different death scenes. So I think that he's a little bit hurt that girls just see him like this. Even other female celebrities see him in this way, see him as G-Dragon instead of Kwon Ji-young, because they're not behind, they're not off camera with him 24/7 either. So that's what I think this is. I think that's what this part is. On to the next part. It sounds loud now, doesn't it? Okay, so that's So this part here is when he's behind the theater booth, the ticket booth to a theater. And so, as you guys can tell, the windows are fogged. They're completely fogged up, so you can't really see his face. You see like a little peek of his face, like this. As the camera zooms out, you just see like, it's like this. Like you see his face like this, but then it slowly just goes away, and eventually you just see his eye. Like that. This is all you see as the camera zooms out. You just see his eye, I think. And from what I read, that's saying like he's basically selling tickets to himself. He's selling tickets to other people to see him. To see him as G-Dragon. He's become a spectacle of some sort. He's become like this person that we just pay to see him as G-Dragon, and we pay for just to look at him, basically. That's really what this is, just to look at him, basically. There is another part. So behind the ticket booth, behind that part there, you see him sitting around, and he has all the little projectors, and they're going, right? He's the one running the show. He's the one running it anyway. And you see all the people all sexually crawling in the background, like holding onto the screen and trying to look through, like trying to like rub the glass and try to get it so they can look through. So that's what they're doing there, but obviously he's not allowing them. We don't know how G-Dragon makes the music. We don't know who... well, some people do know, but, we don't really know how long it takes him to do this, how much effort or time that he has to do all this stuff, where does stuff come from. We don't know this stuff, but G-Dragon himself, and only him, knows. It's just him. We, and I'm going to say some of the other people in YG also, are people that just look at him and we're just like, oh, I wonder how he does this, or we try to figure out how to do it. Like for me, I tried to do it as well, not because of G-Dragon, but just trying to make my own beats. And I don't have a professional recording studio or anything like that. I don't know anyone who has one. I literally just tried to internet search it and tried to do as best as I could with it, and it didn't come out very well. But we won't know unless you work for YG, probably. Unless you are working with G-Dragon himself directly at all times. I don't think that as fangirls or, a fan or just someone who is not G-Dragon, basically, we don't really know where all of his inspiration really comes from or anything like that. Because he's done a few videos like this, but, it's not the same. In a way, it's not the same. So, on to the next part. And I should talk about the little time bomb thing as well, but I'll talk about it later. Okay. Okay, so that part there was a part when G-Dragon G-Dragon or Kwon Ji-young, whichever one you want to call him. I'm calling him G-Dragon for this, because that's what I think he's portraying here. G-Dragon is laying across this tree that has all these persimmons around it, these little fruits, but if you look close enough, when he's like laying against a tree, the persimmon here has like a skull face. It's a skull face, like one of death, like he's dying, or the tree is dying. But if you look really close at the tree is white, it's dried out, it's like twisted, it's dying away. All of the little fruits that have dropped from the tree have these little skull marks on it. And in a way, it looks like he's dying on the tree as well. It may not look like it to you. He doesn't have like flaky skin, or he doesn't have like, hollow eyes, chapped lips. None of that's going on. But it looks like he's also dying. And then there's the girl in the background. The girl who has her face protected yet again is forever in the background. And as I read, G-Dragon was trying to protect this girl by staying farther away from her, which makes a lot of sense, because if you really want to protect someone when you're a celebrity, the best thing you can do is stay away from that person. This is the end of the first part. We're not even 2 minutes in, and we already have a 15-minute video. So I'm going to end this part 1, and I'm going to do part 2 after this one, like right after. So guys, please stay tuned. I'm going to do a whole lot of these. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part 2.